Good evening, it's Monday the 25th of August and here's what's making news around the world on World News Tonight. Severe weather. Vietnam braces for Typhoon Kajiki's major coastal impact. Evacuations are underway. Military action. Israel strikes Sanaa in retaliatory airstrike, killing at least 6 and injuring more. Dog athletics. Bruno, Minnesota, talented hunting dog, chases down foul balls with incredible speed.
From Colombo, this is World News Tonight with Akwil Qureshi.
Good evening once again. Typhoon Kajiki is rapidly approaching Vietnam's central coast, bringing powerful winds, heavy rain and severe flooding. As of this morning, the storm is just 110 kilometers off the coast, with authorities evacuating thousands and shutting down airports. The most powerful storm of the year is set to make landfall later today.
Typhoon Kajiki is intensifying, and as it nears Vietnam's central coastline, residents are already feeling its wrath. In Ninh and province, streets have been flooded and rooftops damaged by fierce winds and torrential rain. In Vinh, the city's beachfront parks have been overtaken by massive waves, sending a clear warning of the storm's destructive potential. Local residents, including hotel chef Dang Juan Pong, describes the scene as terrifying, with waves towering up to 2 meters high. The storm, which is expected to land in a few hours, has left many in a tense state of waiting. The Vietnamese government is responding with urgency, enacting mass evacuations and closing schools and airports. About 30,000 people have already been moved from coastal areas as authorities prepare for the full brunt of Kajiki's fury. Emergency teams are being deployed, sandbags are being placed, and buildings are being reinforced. With winds reaching up to 166 kilometers per hour, this is said to be the most potent storm Vietnam has faced this year, and all precautionary measures are in full swing. What makes Kajiki particularly concerning is not just its strength but its unpredictable trajectory. With the storm just 110 kilometers from the coastline as of early morning, its impact would be felt within hours. The central coast is bracing for extreme weather conditions, which could include widespread flooding and structural damage. With the storm's arrival imminent, officials are urging citizens to stay in designated shelters, not knowing that conditions will only worsen as the typhoon draws closer. The scale of the destruction already seen serves as a reminder of nature's raw power and the vulnerability of coastal regions.
President Lee Jae-myung has concluded a diplomatic visit to Japan, where he met the Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba to discuss US-Korean-Japan corporations and President Donald Trump's tariffs. The meeting strengthened ties between the two countries, with both leaders emphasizing cooperation and reconciliation. Lee now is heading to Washington for talks with Trump.
President Lee Jae-myung and Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba not only discussed a three-way cooperation between South Korea, the US, and Japan, but also US President Trump's sweeping tariffs on America's trading partners. The South Korean leader shared this with the press corps aboard Korea's Air Force One on his way from Tokyo to Washington.
이시바 총리는 매우 우호적으로 우리 대한민국과 미국과 협상에 대해서 많은 조언을 해주었습니다. 한국이 미국과 협상하는 데서 어떤 점에 주의하면 어떤 이점이 있을 것이다라는 점에 대해서 구체적으로 세부적으로 협조해 주기로 약속도 했습니다.
And the meeting served to strengthen not only cooperation between South Korea and Japan, but also the personal bond between the two leaders. The South Korean first couple were hosted by their Japanese counterparts for an official dinner after the summit on Saturday. Ishiba's signature curry dish and Korean chicken dish, Andong Jimdak, were served, as well as soju from Lee's hometown of Andong and beer made in Ishiba's hometown of Tottori Prefecture.
Serving Andong soju and beer produced in Tottori Prefecture together seem to indicate a willingness of cooperation and reconciliation between South Korea and Japan.
And Lee said he hopes to seek a breakthrough in thorny historical issues as the two neighbors broaden mutual understanding. On Sunday, President Lee met with politicians, including former Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga and the leader of Japan's Constitutional Democratic Party, Yoshihiko Noda, before heading for Washington. And First Lady Kim Hae-kyung met with Japanese students studying Korean at Majuyo University in Tokyo, hoping to deepen cultural exchanges between the young generation of the two countries.
An earthquake has shaken the Adelaide Hills and surrounding areas, causing significant disruption. Hundreds of homes have been rattled, with some reporting damage. Emergency teams are assessing the situation, but no major injuries have been reported so far. Authorities are urging residents to stay cautious as aftershocks may follow.
Just as the people of Strathalbyn were getting ready to sleep,
I didn't see anything, but I thought it was a bomb went off, but I wasn't sure what it was.
the ground beneath them started to shake.
The house rumbled and shook, and we've got an old bluestone house, so it must have been pretty deep and pretty high.
The tremor recorded just after 10 last night outside Strathalbyn, with more than 1,000 people reporting it to Geoscience Australia, with the rumbles felt as far away as Meningie and Anglevale.
These smaller earthquakes tend to present as sort of a loud bang or a deep sort of rumble that propagates for a number of seconds.
The tremor, which measured 2.8 on the Richter scale, today the talk of the town.
Just a solid shake, boom, and it was gone. Bit of noise with it, but that was it. Giving us something to talk about this morning. There's been quite a few all around the world lately anyway. Quite a few, so don't know what's going on. I've lived to tell a tale.
Certainly one of the most significant earthquakes to occur in a populated centre in Australia in recent history.
I was old enough to be in a 54 one, so that was a big shake in Adelaide. That one shook the bed.
Air Asia flight QZ545 was forced to return to Perth after passengers reported seeing flames coming from the engine. The flight, bound for Bali, circled nearly Rottnest Island to burn fuel before safely landing. No injuries were reported, and authorities are investigating the engine issue that caused the emergency.
Flames spit from the engine of this Air Asia Airbus. It had only just left Perth for Bali, passengers praying and texting loved ones last night.
All the cabin lights went out, no one spoke a word, we just all sat there just hoping that we'd return safely.
Emergency services surrounding the aircraft as it touched down at Perth Airport.
Everyone was in a pretty traumatic state. Pilot did a fantastic job. Fantastic job in the conditions on one engine.
Flying in circles for about an hour off the coast, burning fuel so the aircraft was light enough to land without issues.
And it was so scary because then the plane started going down and up and down, so we really thought we were about to crash and die somewhere.
Passengers say the airline offered them a $20 food voucher and a seat on today's Bali flights, most bravely accepting. Other travellers undeterred.
Let's go into a short commercial break. More world news right after this. Welcome back. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has pledged another 100 million ringgit in aid for Gaza, reaffirming the country's support for Palestinians. The announcement came during a solidarity rally in the capital, where over 10,000 people gathered. Anwar also criticized Israel's leadership and launched a Gaza aid convoy.
During the rally on Sunday, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim emphasized Malaysia's ongoing commitment to Gaza, announcing an additional 100 million ringgit in humanitarian aid. This new pledge adds to Malaysia's previous contribution 2 years ago, underscoring the country's unwavering stance on providing both financial and moral support to Palestinians during their crisis. Anwar's speech sharply criticized Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his administration. He called their rhetoric deranged and cruel, particularly condemning claims that even small children were being labeled as Hamas militants. His emotional address highlighted the humanitarian tragedy in Gaza, and his remarks struck a chord with the crowd, reinforcing Malaysia's strong advocacy for Palestinian rights. The event also marked the official launch of the 2025 Sumud Nusantara convoy for the Gaza flotilla, which will depart from Spain and Tunisia to deliver aid to Gaza. Delegates from various countries, including Indonesia, Pakistan, and Thailand, will join the convoy, symbolizing a united international effort to aid Gaza's beleaguered population.
Israeli airstrikes on Yemen's capital Sanaa killed 6 and injured 86 in retaliation with Houthi missiles fired towards Israel. The strike targeted military sites, including the presidential palace and power plants. This marks the latest escalation in the ongoing conflict between Israel and Houthis rebels, now over a year old.
Israeli airstrikes hit Yemen's capital Sanaa in retaliation for missiles launched by Houthi forces toward Israel. According to the Houthi-run health ministry, the strikes killed 6 people and wounded 86, marking one of the deadliest incidents in the ongoing exchanges between the two sides. According to the Israeli military, the operation targeted a military compound that included the presidential palace, as well as 2 power plants and a fuel storage site. The strikes came just 2 days after the Houthis claimed responsibility for firing a missile at Israel, part of what the group described as a campaign to pressure Israel to end its siege and military operations in Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu responded with a warning that any attacks against Israel would be met with a fierce response.
Whoever attacks us, we attack them. Whoever plans to attack us, we attack them. I believe the entire region is learning about the strength and determination of the State of Israel.
However, Houthis claim that their air defenses managed to intercept most of Israel's aircraft and force them to retreat, although that claim has not been independently verified. The strikes are the latest escalation in more than a year of direct clashes between Israel and the Houthis. The Houthis said Friday that they fired a ballistic missile toward Israel, calling it part of their support for Palestinians in Gaza. On Sunday, an Israeli Air Force official said the missile likely carried multiple submunitions designed to detonate on impact.
Ukraine has escalated its conflict with Russia following a series of major drone strikes inside Russian territory amid celebrating their Independence Day. These attacks targeting key military sites mark a significant intensification of the war. Russian authorities report damages, though no casualties have been confirmed. Tensions continue to rise amid the ongoing conflict.
As the country marks 34 years of its independence from the Soviet Union, the Ukrainian military launching what they're calling a gift for Russia. Video circulating online showing a massive Ukrainian drone attack targeting an oil and gas processing facility deep inside Russia. Moscow says it shot down 95 drones across multiple regions overnight, but debris from one intercept causing this explosion. These attacks on key Russian facilities come as ceasefire talks remain largely stalled. Vice President J.D. Vance optimistic after a flurry of high-stakes negotiations this week.
I think the Russians have made significant concessions to President Trump for the first time in 3.5 years of this conflict.
One demand out of reach, a summit between Putin and Zelensky. After the president announced they'd meet face-to-face, Russia's foreign minister saying tonight nothing is planned.
Putin is ready to meet with Zelensky when the agenda would be ready for a summit. And this agenda is not ready at all.
Ukraine and Russia remain defiant, keeping any deal elusive. European leaders and President Trump showering Ukraine with support as this war rages on 3.5 years later. And just hours ago, word that Ukraine and Russia had agreed to another prisoner exchange. A moment of relief for families of those reunited and some consensus in this war.
Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk met in Warsaw today to reaffirm their support for Ukraine amidst the ongoing war with Russia. The two leaders also discussed long-term post-war assistance. Carney had recently visited Kyiv, joining President Zelensky for Ukraine's Independence Day celebration.
The meeting between Carney and Tusk in Warsaw underscored the continued strength of Western support for Ukraine, especially as the war with Russia shows no signs of slowing down. Both leaders reiterated their commitment to defending Ukraine against Russian aggression while preparing for long-term reconstruction efforts. Their cooperation aims to bolster both military and humanitarian support for the embattled nation. Carney's trip to Kyiv earlier this week was marked by his participation in Ukraine's Independence Day celebrations, where he joined President Zelensky. The day's ceremonies were not only a commemoration of Ukraine's independence, but also a poignant reminder of the nation's ongoing struggle for sovereignty and freedom. U.S. Envoy Keith Kellogg also attended, signaling international solidarity. As the conflict continues, the diplomatic meetings at Warsaw highlight a critical moment for global leaders to ensure Ukraine's resilience and recovery. Both Carney and Tusk emphasized that the international community must not only provide military aid but also focus on Ukraine's reconstruction and future integration into European structures once the war concludes.
Time for a short commercial break now. We'll be right back with more world news. Welcome back. Bruno, a devoted fan of Star-Tailed Muskies, has become a beloved figure at their home games in Minnesota. However, instead of cheering for the team, his baseball-loving dog is there for a different reason, chasing down foul balls, and he's becoming quite the local sensation at the stadium.
Star-Tailed, Minnesota, home of the Muskies and more. Turns out one of the biggest fans is Bruno. Seldomly misses a home game. But he doesn't come to cheer on his hometown team. He comes for the foul balls.
So when you come to the ballpark, you can tell he's excited already? Oh yeah, when I put this cap on, he's excited.
That's right, he watches intently and intensifies as batters enter the box.
The batter gets in the box, and guess what? He's up there. Now Bruno's up there, anticipating a foul ball. Yeah.
He is a retriever. It's his genetics.
Here he goes. You got it. Attaboy.
Here at the ballpark, he has competition. See, these kids are chasing the same foul balls. Retrieve one and you get a freezy pop at the concession stand. Sometimes the ball goes into the nearby woods.
Fetch it up.
Kids tried to beat Bruno to it. No match for this dog. He takes frequent breaks for water between innings. But on game day, he's all in. And usually, he finds a way to win.
Here he comes with the ball.
Triathlete Madeleine Harrison and his 17-year-old son Keegan have made history, winning gold at the World Transplant Game in Derana, Germany. Representing Team USA, the mother and son duo's victory highlights their strength and determination, inspiring others with their remarkable achievements in the world of transplant sports.
The finish line, thrilling for any athlete. But this team is unlike any you've ever seen before.
Way to go, Mom! Way to go!
That's Texas mom Maddie Harrison and her son Keegan, representing Team USA as a push assist team in the World Transplant Games in Germany.
How did it go, Keegan?
Great. The Games celebrating the gift of organ donation. Keegan was born with a congenital heart condition and became a heart transplant recipient at just 6 days old. Since then, the Harrisons have made it their goal to promote disability awareness. Their method of choice? Racing as a family, with Maddie pushing and pulling Keegan in 5Ks and triathlons.
I had been racing triathlons for many years, and Keegan loved watching and cheering on. We decided that there would be no more sidelines for him.
Before they left, Keegan's school giving him a send-off fit for a champion.
I was completely floored and so excited that everybody came out and just made sure that we felt so much love and support. It means more than we can say.
While winning may not have been the point, with fun and family at the forefront.
I hope people see there are doors that are open no matter what your situation is. There is a way that we can make sure that you feel included, that you're allowed to participate, and that you are supported in whatever that you want to do.
And with that, we come to the end of today's edition of World News Tonight. With the hopes of seeing you again, I'm Akwil Qureshi, and we'll leave you tonight with the visuals of foreign bands dazzling the Kremlin crowd with vibrant music. And also don't forget to send in your feedback through our email address at feedback.8024english@derana.lk or via WhatsApp line on 076 805 7933. On the other side, we've got Prashant Gunavardhana, who'll be joining you next on Nightly Business Report. Thank you for watching. Good night.